Map number 1 now gone and passed, and it's gone dominantly into the favor of Space Soldiers as they take the lead in the series here. It's the grand final of the DreamHack Open Austin, and we may have ourselves a champion very, very soon. Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting prepared to jump onto the second map, which is going to be here on Overpass, and if we don't see Rogue kick it up soon, sadly, they're going to have to go home only with second place.
And this is the map they need to win. I mean, we were talking about it, this could very easily be the last map, but if you think about it from the statistical point of view, it would be it'd be kind of crazy that Space Soldiers are able to take a map that was once their permaban, right? To take Overpass in the situation off of Rogue, when Rogue, I think as they narrowly avoided, or it was Space Soldiers who actually decided to avoid nuke. That would be quite surprising. Now, the other thing, though, is that Rogue don't have much game tape to go off of, right? Whatever reason that Space Soldiers left this in means that they have at least some kind of game plan on. They probably haven't shown that in a lot of places. A lot of the stuff they've probably done and they've only done in practice, but maybe it's gone really well. So they do have the element of surprise, and I think for that reason, I'll still favor Rogue a little bit. I think these GG bet odds are a little bit too skewed in the favor of Space Soldiers, but it's understandable after watching that third map that you're probably going to be pretty inspired by their performance and want to throw some money down on them.
Now, we saw big performances from nearly everyone on the Space Soldiers roster. Even the lowest performing player, which was Major, we can remember multiple times where he showed up, had some really clutch shots, and saved his team in more than one situation. And like I said, that was the statistically lowest performing player in the match. So that doesn't even compare to players like Calyx and Xantares that were just a constant threat to Rogue throughout that entire opening map back on Mirage.
We did talk about also opping and just how, opping on Overpass. Opping is pretty essential in certain spots on Overpass, like playing bathrooms, being able to go for the a pick on balloons and then falling back to bathrooms and then 4 to 5 angles. I mean, you technically don't have to op on any map, but if this is definitely a map where you see a lot of CT-sided teams, like they basically center their strategy around it. So. As for Space Soldiers, though, Major seemed to be doing pretty good last map. Was definitely vying for that primary op role, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has some good impact here on the CT side of Overpass in this grand final. Flash over B, headshot molly to push 2 CTs out of position as a tease flood in.
These are going to flood in relatively quickly here, too, but Engine's ready for the fight when it finally pushes his way. The train will go in the direction of the T's, but just like that, the CTs come back in with their own flare. It's going all over the place right now as we're down to a 3v3. The T's don't have full control just yet, as you can very much see. Calyx still has pit control. Xantares is going to be a threat back up in heaven as well, but they do have to force the situation on the planet. At least start the timer ticking in their favor so that they can wound down some time and get closer and closer to victory here. But with that, their heaven player, Xantares, is going to be jumping back out to get back to the fight. Hiko makes a good rapid along with Ricky. They find 2 kills. Engine surrounded. He's not going anywhere. And Hiko claiming the last kill gives Rogue the opening pistol of the second map.
Yeah, and the strat was perfect. They were going to use that bait at the headshot barrel to have one person peek and take contact, and the second guy to either just peek up and watch Cat or just hold off if his teammates die too quickly. Maybe try to catch them off guard on the bomb plant as his teammates come in. And none of that was possible because of the great molly. So they kept it simple. They went with a fast strat, and we know that Rogue loved their fast strat. So sticking to the game plan is a big part of being comfortable, and being comfortable is a big part of winning, honestly. So if they can get away with that, they can get away with that. Again, I think here, Space Soldiers with the force up is going to be something for Rogue to be concerned about. Paz looks like he's hungry to push, but also seems to have found an angle that he seems pretty comfortable not going further in. Hiko and Sick have cleared out the stairs. And they've gained a lot of map control. Something that some teams do too often is they don't get far enough out towards A early enough in the rounds, and then when they want to go back, they don't have that choice.
Trying to hold on the opening gambit, but it's not going to end up working out too well. Paz is only able to get 1 from construction 2 on this force-up, so we are going to see Rogue pretty easily clean out the B-bomb site. Xantares getting himself into an extended duel 2, but comes out on the losing end of it all the way down to 13 HP. He's gone to save now, and so is pretty much the rest of the team. Major, well, has quite literally nothing to save. So more than anything, we'll see him support his teammates and maybe try to pick up an exit kill here. But Engine and Xantares, they still have something they can take away into the third round, so they're going to want to keep that rolling. Yeah,
that's a very clean start. Very, very clean start indeed. I mean, they seemed like they had they had in mind like exactly how long they wanted to take to get to B. They were kind of like, hey, let's clear this stuff out and meet up around the one minute mark or so, and then we'll hit the site. And because there was no one to cause friction for Space Soldiers, they went ahead and got in easily. The DreamHack smooths to couple with the Space Soldiers having fun in the playground.
That's a good.
Oh my god, that's very threatening.
I haven't seen that smooth before. That was a good one. So we'll jump into the next round here, which should be pretty much, obviously, besides the save guns, a full eco coming out from Space Soldiers. No investment from them, and that means Rogue are going to be in a great position to push ahead here. 3-0, more than likely, will be our scoreline, unless, of course, things go a little bit crazy here with that CZ and Scout. On the opening couple of seconds, though, we are going to see Space Soldiers still get rather aggressive, at least on the A side of the map. Calyx and Paz will pretty much just be chilling out in the B-bomb site and are not expected to adventure much further beyond that, but the A players have quite a bit of presence established over here at Long, including Engine on the Scout right there. 2 shots, only connecting on one of them for Katie and bringing him down to 31 HP. And Rogue gotta just duck and tail right now, waiting for the next move.
Just making out behind the rock.
Gonna get a little bit of help from Major here too, it looks like. At least a distraction. CTs look for a safe way to push up towards Long and just kind of overwhelm the CTs with their gun power. Although it isn't the easiest process of the world, so we're going to see them just take it nice and slow. They do decide to use a molly to isolate the Scout player. Engine is kept back and away from the situation, and finally, they open things up with a first kill for themselves. Engine trying to jump Scout here now. He's getting tricky with it. And there we go. Finally finishes off Cadian from the earlier shot that he had connected. A few more still trying to work their way up too. Rogue just seems super hesitant to make this play because they knew that that aggression would be coming out eventually, but even so, decent trades being found here by Space Soldiers as they've knocked out 2 players now and have dropped the bomb. The cross the bathroom connector, though, is what's really going to mess them up at the end here. As finally, Rogue does clean it up and get that 3-0 score line. It
seemed a little bit sketchy just because in that long area, there's not a lot of cover to work with. So once you decide to move all the way up, I mean, there are certain spots where there's no cover to stand behind on your way out. And if you know that a CT is going to continually test you, you don't want to be caught holding W, and that puts you in a very awkward position. And we could see from Space Soldiers, even though they were down a man, you're constantly kind of worried for Rogue and their players standing out there as to like whether or not they're just going to get peeked and lose their duel. But now they no longer have to think about that after cleaning up that mess, and Vice is going to put out a Molotov, coupled with a flash that's going to put Major in an awkward position. I think he might have been smoke blind, even though we can see his body. Paz, though, is out here to trade.
Moving in, but it's Cadian that strikes next with a quick push going through short A. Engine's going to try to reverse the situation here as he still holds close fight to the bathrooms himself, but is unable to take down Ricky. So he'll move in along with the rest of Rogue as they're going to take solid A control. More than likely for Paz and Calyx, out of utility, and Paz heavily injured. About 13 HP. They can't contest this. They've got to fall away and save, so it's Rogue off to a good start as they've claimed the opening gun round, and now will lead 4-0.
Rogue really showing us what they understand about Overpass, and it seems like they've definitely got a good thing going. Space Soldiers looking like a shell of themselves within just a few rounds, and that is the power of a map pool, right? I mean, we were looking at the last map, and a team that is very practiced on a map can make the player shine more, right? They can look like they're way better players. You take them out of their comfort zone, suddenly they're different people. So that's why it's so important to develop a strong map pool.
See Cadian looking for one kill to find, but he misses the note on Calyx. At the very least, though, Sick is able to move in and find a trade back onto that. So they do actually drop that gun, and that's going to severely impact, well, the impact that Space Soldiers could have potentially found in this next round, leaving them really only with just the op and a couple CZ purchases to play off of now.
Yeah, not a lot to work with, but the op has many options on Overpass. I don't have to go over all of them. Instead, I think we'll just take a look at what Paz is doing. If Rogue don't decide to do something fast, which it looks like they might. Sick is leading the charge here into B. I think they might be anticipating a force-up instead of an eco round. Is kind of running a risk of giving up a very important weapon early on.
Nice hold from Calyx there.
They didn't gain much information from that. Sacrificed a man advantage, and I feel like if they wanted the scout, could have potentially just used the MAC-10, but still don't know if there's a stack, which is the biggest problem.
Reality, they've only really got 2 players holding on to that site. Calyx just kind of makes a window for himself. The smoke screen that's set up next to the pole with that is able to easily take down Sick. So now Rogue are going to start a slow and steady push up on top. Because again, it's a lack of intel here. They don't know how aggressively Space Soldiers have put their players forward since they are on a bit of an odd buy right now. They don't know where they're going to be positioned at, as there's multiple positions you can try to play from aggressively here on CT's side. Cadian, in the meanwhile, is going to go exploring back down on the bottom site, looking for anything that he might be able to trade out here. More importantly, any intel. There's the find on Calyx. No, he did see a major spot right there, so he's going to be able to move in and take him out too. That's the site been cleared, and that was the ticket that Rogue needed. We're really getting a smooth closeout on this round, which I think is going to be pretty easy from this point forward.
Strange round, but they land on their feet, and it's one where I wonder what it was like inside the TeamSpeak of the Mumble or whatever they're using to, like, what was the strat exactly? Because you could use him to discover that information and then have everyone kind of trail behind, I suppose, if they had a great spawn, or use him to go quickly towards B as a fake if they wanted to go A or something like that. But it didn't seem like anyone was in position to do something quickly, and now I'm like, yeah, just handed him the knife in the back.
Well, that makes up for the one a few days ago, at least.
Here's 1,500 bucks. Oh boy. Ooh boy. He's a shadow. He will only take the shot. Nobody's crossing the line.
That is some patience right
there. My goodness.
To not take a shot at that. There's about 3 opportunities he might have had right there. Almost got faked out, but knew what was happening, controlled the situation, and more importantly, didn't give away his position. So we'll keep that op in check for the next round. That was more important for him to play off of there. Indeed, we'll save them a little bit of money now, as Paz is still going to be left over with 5K after the bye, going into this next gun round, where the rest of his team is still going to be pretty much broke. Rogue, they're going to see them set up a little bit quicker here to start off on the round, as they move for a fast push over towards the B-bomb site, and it works! Sick! Finding all the entry power that's necessary here, knocking out Paz, and Major! Calyx next to fall too, there you go! It's a barnstorming approach from Rogue, and it works out great to get them their 6th round. There's no way Xantares and Engine are even going to attempt this now.
There are some teams that cannot stop a B rush. We've seen certain teams abuse it over and over again. Virtus Pro have a mean B rush, and to provide a quality defense, I mean, you have to really organize your counter grenades, and you also have to kind of anticipate it with your setup. And I don't think they expected Rogue to continually abuse that. So it's good on them, I think, to go for that strat one more time. I'm most curious about how Space Soldiers will approach that part of the map in terms of reaction next round. So there is going to be a save called as they go for the save, but those were some fierce entries that they had to deal with. Yeah, but there's a number of ways you can try to approach it. Just relying on the straight up counter grenades. Sometimes peeking with a op can actually net you a 1-for-1, but still allow the rush to come into play, which is not a really good trade at the end of the day. The other thing you can do is if you get the smoke down, play 2 left side monster. We saw United try that setup. But all in all, it's very difficult to deal with, and some teams are very good at abusing it. So not surprised. Space Soldiers are going to pull the pause right here and try to figure out live what they can do about this pressure.
Sadly, nothing has been working for them here, and it's been some pretty solid rounds overall from Rogue, which has led them to hold a very stable economy. At most, on gun rounds, they maybe brought Rogue down to 2 players, but besides that, they have been winning out with more than that. In most cases, 3, 4, some cases even 5 rounds with their anti-ecos, which has built Rogue up to a pretty good economy, and overall some good consistency to start T-side as well here on Overpass, which is usually a pretty tough task to do here, but Space Soldiers sadly are falling flat on their opener for the CT side, and they need to find a way to correct that quickly. We'll hope that this pause did something for them, as it is leading them through into a gun round, but let's see now, as Rogue are going to open up with fast A-long control.
Wow, they're actually falling back off of map control really quickly, and I don't know if they have a hint that it's going to be some kind of A play, but long is being taken quite quickly. And actually, thankfully for Xantares, he falls back to spot this, because now they have the ability to smoke and flash this off. I don't know if bomb was spotted, but that is going to be a good bit of information that's going to lead some rotates over to A. Thought they were going to try to take short control, which would have been another pretty good response, I think, to any kind of B pressure, even if it was some kind of monster hit. Kind of just threw that smoke off the cuff. And it's hard to tell exactly what Rogue wanted to do. It seemed like a lot of their strat was reliant on not getting spotted that early. And so I think it somewhat just reset the situation, but don't seem to have that much of a plan. Have given up a lot of map control. And this is the problem when you do a 5-man anything, is that you don't give yourself the ability to fall back, because once you're spotted, you also risk the other team pushing something. I think thankfully for them, Space Soldiers haven't gone and sought out that information, but it doesn't matter because Rogue are still worried that they have, so it's going to slow them down.
Engine is going to be waiting on the outside, ready to take on the challenge through short. She's going to be moving in relatively quickly. Engine's able to trade for 2, but falls after that. And it equalized itself out in the favor of Rogue because of the kills that they had picked up. Major at least finds two more kills, however, to bring this down to only 6, and he has no time left to plant. He gives this up entirely, and that wraparound for Major proves to be a massive save as it keeps Space Soldiers in it. Yes, Major is going to die at the end and bring it down to 1, but at least finally, they're now on the board.
Yeah, that's actually a situation where Space Soldiers don't want to chase that last frag, and they barely won that round. I mean, it did come down to this final spray, but they also had 3 people ready to defend against this and knew that it was going to be an A play really early on. So definitely credit to Space Soldiers for pulling it together at in the very last few moments. I'd still be concerned about the fact that even though they had enough men to kind of stop that execute before it started, they couldn't. But again, they can kind of put that away, reset, and think about a new way to approach. Definitely don't want to give up map control too early. One of the #1 problems of teams, especially in inexperience on Overpass on CT side, is just falling back way too soon. Kind of like pretending to go for map control, but then just immediately receding to the site, which doesn't have great angles to play from.
Rogue have shifted themselves downstairs relatively quickly to move out, and Space Soldiers are really none the wiser here. Alex, great stuff holding it off, though. Finds 2 very fast headshots, smokes off the alt tunnel here, so he can have a little bit more room to maneuver. Moves out and is going to find, there we go, 2 more kills for himself. Had to chase down Kaden on the spray, but it gets the job done, and now he's on the border of an ace. As Vice doesn't even want to contest it anymore. He's going to fall back and make sure he's not getting flanked through spawn.
On a 90, on an angle like that, I mean, it's just so awkward, and you're out in the open, and everybody knows exactly where you were, and they can pick when to peek you. To win all of those duels is just absolutely absurd. So hats off to Calyx, as he is just the first tier of the defense, and Rogue can't trade him. Vice now all alone. Doesn't have enough time to go for this, not nearly enough time. But I think recognizes that there's probably not a lot of safe save spots either. I'm not exactly sure what his intention is at this point. He's getting close to the bomb now.
Maybe just going to potentially see if he can catch one of the CTs off guard here and get an extra kill, but that would pretty much be it. That or next to the bomb is maybe. Oh, I see what he's going for now. Off on the ground. He's going to try to go in and pick this up real quick. So there we go. Retrieves that at the very least. The gun sound is made, so he is going to dive back very quickly, but makes it out of the round with it. And they still have money to buy it behind it as well. So Rogue are not done fighting just yet, even after 2 rounds have been picked up by Space Soldiers. Both have been won on the timer, actually, so far, by the way. They are finding some solidity here, but sadly, have not been able to break down that very strong T-sided economy just yet.
Yeah, very nice defense so far. Definitely like to see teams go for short control. I feel like that's one of the more CT-sided ways to approach map control on this map. And here, Space Soldiers have actually been throwing the stair smoke quite a bit, but then just falling back off of it. And typically you have like teams will go for stairs and short at the same time so they can help each other out. Space Soldiers are opting to play a similar setup to they did last round, and again, doing kind of what works. I think might have tripped themselves up here into thinking that maybe it was a long take one more time. Maybe you're worried about the fact that they hadn't watched it and Rogue snuck out there before. But with a bunch of players in the stairs and one over towards B, I can only tell you one thing.
Ready to take the fight, so is Calyx once again, but he's not going to be able to do that twice, so he only finds 1 frag this time. Major with another one, but Cadian ready to find the trade, keeps his team at least competitive in this round. There's quickly going to be rotates moving back downstairs, though, so if they want to go for this B hit, they've got to do it very, very quickly, and even they're being hesitant on it as well. Same for Space Soldiers, though, as they don't know if they would have gone for the quick wrap, and Vice! Another nice entry found over here inside of Dirty Water for him as he moves in, takes out Xantares, and Paz and Engine now with the last 2 standing for Space Soldiers. Both as well, down here on the B-bomb site, Vice and Cadian. Split themselves up, interestingly enough, as Cadian goes for the plant upstairs, and that leaves Vice, I thought was going to try to lurk through the tunnels and just pincer these last 2 CTs. He is actually going to fall back through the connector normally and regroup with his other teammate. Cadian gets the spot onto the player behind the dice box, but now the smoke comes in, which will allow them to jump on the defuse, and Vice having some problems spotting it. Cadian does get the trade, but now he's going to find the planter. It's up shots here. Less than 3 seconds. He's going to get it. Engine pulls off a massive ninja defuse inside of the smoke. And with that, although he does die, wins out the round and gets a third one going for Space Soldiers.
Honestly, the mid round was pretty cool from Rogue to try to go back to A to get the plant. I like the rotate actually back from Vice, even though he could have pulled off the flank. He was worried about being able to come up too late and them being fully aware of the fact that he was still in B, so didn't want to run too many risks, and they had a lot of advantages playing from bathrooms there, especially with the op. But the smoke diffuse was a great idea too. I don't think they even exactly heard whether or not it was going to be diffused or not, and I think that tripped them up. So a series of unfortunate events for Rogue. Spash getting flashed out to short, spots 2 opponents and crouches into a wall, which absorbs most of his bullets, allowing Hiko to trade and putting Rogue in a 4-on-4.
Rogue going to be holding up after that, however, taking a few moments to analyze the situation, even sending Vice and Cadian back over through spawn up into the tunnels as well. Just to watch out, and more so because of the fact that they have had 0 presence upstairs here. The CTs have gotten a little bit aggressive. They haven't gotten, as aggressive as Rogue think they have, though. So this is more of a precautionary move to make sure that they don't get flanked later on in the round, whether they're going to go for this site or try to wrap it back towards A is yet to be seen, however. Xantares is now going to move in, get some decent intel, and Major, great push too, but Sick, back up on the rafters, catches him off guard, but this is when Xantares can now jump into the fight from Connector. He moves out, finds the trade on Sick, and drops the bomb, more importantly, keeping it in a spot where right now, Rogue have 0 chance of getting it back. So now they're on the back foot here, and they're not going to have a whole lot of time to think about how to work this back in their own direction. Only 40 seconds remain for them to find a plant.
And this is why it's a little bit unnerving to play in the stairs, but you can also see the value. Like Xantares can immediately help his teammate and swing open a door that nobody expected anyone to be on the other side of, leaving the terrorists to have to recoup their losses and approach this from a new area. The trade comes out from Cadian, but Vice has got to take a big risk here and actually pulls it out. One player left on short that can be traded as well, and a very key couple of frags from Vice to close that round out and keep Rogue in this game.
Great stuff from Vice that keeps Rogue not only in the game, but competitive here as well, and well in the lead. It's 7-3 now being the scoreline. Not only that, but the 3 rounds Space Soldiers won were all relatively close rounds, with the second one they picked up being an exception. So they're immediately broken by that lost round, and you can see the force buys. Calyx, the only one able to afford a rifle. Everyone else is down on pistol armor purchases.
There's again, going up the stairs. Not often we see Space Soldiers on these pistols. You go here smoking the stairs off, putting some pressure on stairs, just to create presence, and you put the teammates in, or the other team in fear for a lot longer than you've actually made presence for. So that's why it's good to sometimes just throw a flash, a little bit of spam, let them know you were there. And they'll kind of have this an image of like a phantom of a player that was once there, and they'll go and clear things out carefully. Rogue have gone back to long control. Hiko hanging back to catch rotates. Very popular anti-eco. As for Space Soldiers, they have opted not to stack.
Rogue, however, are going to be bursting into the site here in just a second, and this will come back to haunt Space Soldiers if they can't hold it. Has got the deagle in hand. It was a great response flash. At least he's going to delay the hit for a few moments, but the Molly still burns Paz out and makes it easy for Vice to hit those entries. Engine shows up, sadly, just a little bit too late, but he does have this cross at least. Another shot found by him now as he's taken down Sick, but the flight knocks him out, and Hiko will finish things off. As another round is claimed by Rogue, it gets a little bit close there for a second, but they still maintain, and now are back in control with a 5-round lead.
We didn't see what Hiko did there, but I think it was very, very important second kill. Could have got strange. Could have got strange. Space Soldiers, 2K apiece. Basically, USPs for everyone. And for anyone with the team, this is definitely, the rounds that you forget about but want to pay attention to in terms of how top-level teams will take advantage of rounds where they don't have much utility, where they'll stack, how they'll cover each other, if there's any cute bait setups they might use.
Engine tries to go for some intel here early on and sadly pays the price for it. Cadian ready to take the shot right on his rectangle and quickly brings him down. Space Soldiers, besides this, well, actually will rotate up to the top, it looks like, off of getting that intel that Cadian was there. But even so, there's not really much reason for Rogue to fear Space Soldiers here. Game walking right up, nobody's watching long, so it's an easy kill on Calyx for him. Does get dinked, but it's only down to 38 HP. Another one and one more to add on top of that. He's just rocking up the frags. A bit of a stat pad round for him, as Major is left as the last man standing and has already given away his position. So in a moment, Rogue are going to be going for the plant, even though Major has traded Rikke. And now Major's only goal really just going to be to pick up the AK and run away with it.
Yeah, something nice at the end of the round. Constellation prize, a default AK skin, still classic. You know, when because there are skins now, no skins become cool, right?
Yeah.
When there's no skins, then no skins not cool.
That's like the.
But when there are skins, you can wear no skins, and it's suddenly a skin.
It's like, yeah, I'm too cool for skins.
Exactly.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Oh, I don't need that. That sort of thing. So 9-3. Rogue continuing to grow their advantage here in this situation. Not only that, but their economy is getting back to a pretty good point here, too. We're looking at guys like Cadian sitting at 12K. He's barely gone down at all here so far in this game. Really only on the rounds that they've lost. Besides that, yeah, just 5 deaths for him. Barely having to rebuy that up is certainly going to boost his economy in the long run here. Space Soldiers looking for anything that they can work off of on this CT side before the half closes out there. Well, of course, try to push for that 9-6, but it's been proving very, very difficult to achieve.
Pressure being evenly applied across the map, as you can see from the CTs on the mini-map. Engine from the top of the stairs, taking a less kind of common angle to do in the early round. Not exactly sure how confident he is in that fight, but he's got two CTs to lead off, and Cadian takes a face off of Calyx, opening up the B site. Now it's wide open as Major's just here from the skybox with a flashbang and an M4.
He's still trying to throw more flashes into the fight to be able to hold him away from this as Major dives in the pit, holding himself into a new position here. Rogue, oh my goodness, Major just walks right out. I don't even know if he realized it. Sick will take him down though, as he was unaffected by the flashbang, but it's Xantari's coming in on the flank once again. That turns the tables a little bit. However, unbeknownst to Space Soldiers right now, Rogue are pulling a lateral. They're going to run back around through T-spawn and try to change this hit up a bit, I believe by heading over to A.
I'm not sure I see the value in this, I'll be honest. I mean, yeah, there are two players right there, but it's going to be known that they've all left, and the rotate's very short for the CTs. As for the Ts, they've got to run all the way around the map, so it kind of balances out the amount of time you spend looking for information. And also, if anybody had pushed, well, all those rogue players might have got caught on the flank, so we'll see how it works out. Smoke's going to come over, and 2 players are in place.
Sadly not going to take a shot at Smoke just yet, which will let Rogue spread out quite a bit, but they have no time left to plant this bomb. 5 seconds remaining. They try to force the issue. Cadian sadly not going to be able to get it onto the ground in time, so it will expire. Space Soldiers will pick up another round, and even better, they take down Cadian post-timer, but he's got plenty of cash. That's not going to be too big of a worry for him.
So they had, 2 fights on either side, right? But if they went ahead and took A, they would have, or B, excuse me, they would have had about a minute to work on that site, and instead gave themselves less than 10 seconds to get the bomb after taking all these engagements. Also, can't set up for the smokes, have to run a little bit more than they like to. So it's kind of weird to see teams make those giant rotations when there's so many ways I think that you could lose.
We're going to see Xantari's make himself rather aggressive this time. He's not alone either. He's got the support coming in from Paz. Flashbang impacting onto him heavily, and Paz firing off the shot that gives himself away. Engine falling directly after that too. Rogue with a barnstorming start to this round. Have pretty much already won it here, unless one of the individual CTs on either site can pull off a massive play now. They do have decent utility, so they can attempt to delay. It is going to be Major forced out of the situation from inside of the A bomb site as he wraps down for a moment. Let the T's shuffle in.
And they're still taking their time. So they just rip through the defense. And all that forward A aggression hasn't actually been tested in the last few rounds in the Space Soldiers, so I think they're going to be quite worried about that. They've been trying to go into those setups kind of over and over again, and it seemed to be fine for the early portion of the round, so it netted them a lot of information that now they're going to be scared to try to go out and get again. 5 up from Rogue is kind of a big deal. I'm not sure what Space Soldiers' money looks like for the next round, but as the save is looking like it's going to go pretty well. Major has a full nade set. Oh my.
No.
Oh my. Okay.
Cadian thankfully catches that play rather quickly. Otherwise, we could have been looking at a shocking moment, at least for Rogue. It's not going to happen. Calyx will survive the engagement, sadly only surviving it with an ump, so that's really not going to lend much credit to a buy in this final round, but regardless, it will be the final round, so we'll just have to work with whatever they can afford.
Won't get us, boys.
Thank goodness Cadian kept himself with a close watch on that site and saw it coming.
Yeah, no more smoke diffuses on Cadian's watch.
He already let one get past him earlier on, and that was one of the reasons we saw Space Soldiers able to pick up one of their 4 rounds. So
the busted buy. 3 UMPs and 2 CZs. What do they decide to do? You know, you're definitely encouraged to be more aggressive on rounds like this to make up for the deficit in equipment value. So they sought out information at short B. They've had a lot of success doing that, so it makes sense. Hiko's here as the player that they can kind of tether around. You know, Stairs acting as the middle of the map on Overpass allows for these 7-second rotations as opposed to the big, 14-second rotations that we saw Rogue try to take advantage of going from B to A, and shortening the time has a number of positive benefits. But I think now that he's done kind of poking around there, making presence, he's fallen back. And again, I think they're trying to pull off that similar kind of anti-eco A-take with the pressure long A.
He's ready to move back in. Just going to wait for a little bit of support to come in. See the nades. A lot of molly's going to pretty much completely drain out the entire back right portion of the site. Calyx is flushed out because of that. Can't even get more of the flower box in time. Vice does catch the flank, but can only knock out one of the flanked players. And with that, Engine actually gets himself the second kill too. Ricky thankfully has established a pretty impressive control down at Bank. Cadian's got himself a good angle over here by the map as well, so he's going to knock out Engine. Just Paz remaining 1v3. He'll go for it, but Cadian, he's also ready to hit one more shot. Close out the half with 15 frags, and Rogue now have that massive advantage at halftime. Same scoreline as our opening map, but this time it is Rogue that control it at 11-4.
Definitely Rogue fans rejoice at this moment. This is a great lead moving into map 2. Definitely a different team than we saw on Mirage, but I think maybe no surprise to themselves as well. For sure a lot more comfortable moving into Overpass than they were before. So as for Space Soldiers, they've got to kind of rest and reset in these few moments before halftime, and think about what they're going to do on their T side, make it look a little bit more competitive than what we saw from them on CT.
So that second half, guys, is going to be getting started in just a couple of moments here. We've seen some good performances, definitely increased performances as well from Rogue's entire player base for the most part. It's been very much a team effort across the board. Not a lot of splits, but some of the stars on Space Soldiers struggling incredibly here on this second map. Xantares in that entire opening half only picking up 2 kills.
So he had 2 kills, Blue?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's not good. And he was taking it, he had a very forward position as well, playing in stairs and out towards bathrooms. And again, I mean, that's the value of going over a map and getting good at it, right? It's just having your players be comfortable enough to have the same impact across the board.
So Xantares only picking up 2 kills on CT side, and some of his other teammates not doing much better. Paz only finding 5 there. It's a bit better from there, but again, just overall, a very lackluster performance for some of the stars, though that's an immediate improvement right there. Engine just completely decking Cadian to the ground as I believe he gets a double goose to finish him off. He's going to be overwhelmed quickly, though, by a push from Hiko and the rest of Rogue as they take back control of water. But that will leave a hole open for Space Soldiers to push back into the B site. Sadly, it's only Xantares that does it, but at the very least, these players that are in the upper tunnels can now make a push towards the A site, too.
Wow, this commotion's actually pulled everybody to rotate through CT, and I think Xantares, even though that Deathcam's not going to last very long, will have gathered some valuable information there that they flanked him with more than one player. So, moving their way back to A. Silence USP shot rings off from Sick as he tries to take bathroom control. I mean, really can kind of play this however he wants. It's going to be hard to fault him. But there it is. The rotates are finally in.
Showing up out of nowhere there to be able to take down one of the last players. And for Calyx, well, sadly, he's going to be trapped here. If he goes back out for long, he's going to have, in a moment here, Vice pretty close up to the flower box to be able to take him down. The bathrooms are now under the control of the CPs too, although those are 2 clean headshots from him. Knocking out Sick and Hiko. 2 more to go here. If he wants to go for the clutch, he'll trade out quickly over to the USP, although it doesn't have a whole lot of ammo left, so he's got to be cautious of that. Now as he moves back, an opportunity presented to try and knock out Ricky, but he's not going to be able to sink the shot. And now as Smoke moves in, he won't mind that though, just pushes right past it. The Toll versus Ricky. Ricky trying to extend it as long as possible. Out of ammo, Ricky jumps out of the way. Oh, Ricky! The movement Jukes out of the way with a duck. And with that, we'll close out on the pistol, giving it to Rogue and putting them up to 12.
What exactly was that? I don't even know. Just hiding the hitboxes. It's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater out here.
Whatever it was, it worked.
Hit him with the dark slide. Oh my goodness, dude. Is that an Australian move?
I don't know.
OCECS. Let's go. I really don't know what just happened, but I want more.
Never seen that one before, that's for sure. But Space Soldiers now, of course, forcing into it. They really don't have a choice now with the scoreline that they're up against here. They don't get a plan either, so going about the usual path at this point as they bring 5 CZs to the table, take quick control of water. We're looking like they were going to go for kind of a quick follow-up, at least to get some intel by construction, but the smoke is more than likely going to hold that back for a couple of seconds here. So they've also got the bomb and Major still towards their spawn.
Spot of silence. Smoke goes down on the Molotov. Sick has a favorable position, however. Catches a second player jumping, keeps the UMP, but finally dies with it. Maybe just Major and Calyx, and now just Major. HE grenade and no bomb.
Gonna tuck himself into a corner here in water. Hope someone tries to flank him through connector, although I don't think that's going to be happening. Rogue have a solid setup here in the site. No reason to give it back up. They're looking for money build up here early on. As although they have a good score line, we could still be looking at an extended half if Space Soldiers bring it back on the opening gun round. So they're ready for the long fight, and that's what they're looking for right now. They don't need the quick closeout here. They still got one more map to go anyway, so might as well buckle in for the ride. Major with no real choice. He's going to start to push forward. Spots! And Hiko gets the kill. So Rogue push up to 13 now with one more save still coming up for Space Soldiers.
I really am looking forward to seeing the odds, especially if this map does close out, you know, with Rogue winning, you know, by such a big margin. What the odds are going to look like for the third map, because anybody who doubted Rogue going into this map will now have a totally new understanding of them, or a renewed faith, I should say, in the team. Definitely looking like a much better lineup suddenly. But I wouldn't count Space Soldiers out. They really have done some amazing things this tournament. And even though they're on Glocks now, they have a much better chance to extra round. Oh my god, Cadian completely Glocked. No grenades, no half armor, just pure unadulterated Glocks.
Ripping them apart with that. Paz, of course, is going to take some of the heat from that fight. It still remains in the engagement for now. Rogue still are going to keep close presence on short, however, not backing away from it just yet, despite the loss of Cadian a few seconds ago. Rookie just takes a tight angle and is actually going to get a little bit more aggressive here, too. Pushing all the way out to the edge. There's a spot for intel. He's kind of missed the party, though, as everyone else hasn't moved away, and they've got an interesting split going on. 3 players to push through Monster into B, but the bomb, along with Calyx, moving out through long A. So a distraction more than likely here on B to pull the rotates off, and then an actual commitment upstairs.
Just trying to work their way into the bomb sites, but it's just a big fake, actually. Major seemed to almost look like he was about to get that kill. The plant goes down for Calyx at least. One of the smallest but most terrifying guns in the game. MP9 to get what he can, and it won't be much.
So with Hiko picking up that last kill, Rogue are now nearly in a game set match position here to tie the series up at 1-1. 14-4. Got the next gun round coming up for Space Soldiers, and it'll be amplified a little bit because they get this last plant here, so gonna have a little bit of extra cash to play with. Does not look like we are gonna see an op from them on the opening round, though. Just 5 AKs and full utility, but this is it. They drop this one, they're force buying, and it's not gonna be pretty, so this is their one and only chance to get back into the game.
Yeah. And this is what it all comes down to. So, Space Soldiers, if you're listening, and I hope you're not, dig deep, right? Leave it all on the table, because you're not getting this map back. 5 AKs up, whatever golden strategy that you have, this is going to be the place and time to use it. Finals of DreamHack Austin 2018. And it has been a journey. 3 players creeping up the stairs. Katie in here with just a dem 4 and a great angle that he's clearly very comfortable in.
And here comes the push now from Ricky back towards spawn, and look what he's got. Drops the bomb down onto the ground, pops the flash out, with the smoke, of course, and now he's going to take up a new position. Hiko. Ladders are hard. Well, instead, just decide to stay downstairs here. Stay now. Oh, quite literally in T-spawn there. But Engine gets the better of him. Nico tries to spam back through the smoke to look for a trade. Will eventually pick up the kill right there. More exchange is going to be had. It leaves Paz alone in this situation. 1v3. Nico again going out spamming through the smoke there. Gets one more kill added. And that puts Rogue up on map point 15-4. They took it like this. That's certainly going to hurt Space Soldiers' morale going into the third map.
Oh yeah, this is crazy. It looks like we're going the distance. I mean, it really does seem like we're actually going to get there. This would be quite the win. This would be quite the win for Rogue. And already it's an unreal performance. So, lots of money to work with. Tons of rounds for Space Soldiers to come back from. A couple of pistols helped them in making this scoreline so dominant, but the rifle rounds look good as well. Everything was clean for the most part. And here, they're going to continue with the aggression. Great, well-placed grenade, and the spray down from Cadian.
Cadian over to the USP to try to pick up one more, but he'll miss that shot. Calyx at least finding the trade there. However, the CTs are still pretty much with full control of the map at this point. Yes, Calyx is trying to move back in, but he's waiting for him. Rookie. And now the bomb has been dropped completely. Xantari's going to have to catch this trade. He's got a good chance to do it. Yeah, there we go. At least maintains the controller. But while this is happening, once again, Rogue continue to get more aggressive, continue to pull away the map control that Space Soldiers just worked so hard to get. And pretty much they've been reset here now because they had to go back and get the bomb. They're working from square one, right at a T-spawn. And they have no clue what's waiting for them at pretty much this entire map. You can see how aggressively Rogue get postured up right now. As such, Space Soldiers themselves are going to have to go for a very slow crawl to the B site, just to be careful in the event that Rogue plays someone outside a monster or something like that.
Yeah, they split up into pretty good spots here. They have a lot of vision on many different angles, and they're kind of allowing Vice to roam a bit and take that one risk. But they're still going to know quickly if the bomb gets planted and where, instead of playing on sites, which is not necessarily the best thing to do at all times. Hiko has moved his way into Graffiti and is just here to spot across. Doesn't want to get lurked upon. Most likely allowed for a bomb plant here. Actually gets sprayed down, and it looked like he didn't have armor somehow. A ton of aim punch in that moment.
So Hiko will be dispatched here at the end of the round. Brings us into an even 2v2. Look at all the utility Vice still has to play off with, though. He's got a smoke. So hopefully add some confusion and get himself into the site a little bit more easily. Along with the molly to try and flush someone out here. Even a flashbang too. Sick also has one. Both are going to quickly go into the monster. Oof, none of that utility is going to end up being used though. His engine quickly strikes down Vice, and Xantari is finding the second. Space Soldiers are not done fighting just yet. But sadly, they've got a long way to go. They now need 10 consecutive rounds straight.
That was a surgical post plant and mid-round in general. So they methodically worked their way into B, slowly identified their targets, got the one man who was holding it down and trying to play safely, and keep their hopes alive. So now it's another chance at it, but they don't have an op again. It's going to be the double op from Rogue, a setup that Space Soldiers have not been accustomed to, not introduced to yet. Calyx outside B to hold for the pushes, and everybody else in a very standard default. None of the CTs egregiously peeking here instead. Just playing Overpass, that standard level of aggression. Ricky in the stairs one more time. He wins his duel.
Nicely found there. Good start for Rogue to open things up and still try to close out this map in relatively quick fashion. Space Soldiers, however, have not necessarily been pulled away from this situation just yet. Okay, he's definitely getting some good intel right now by playing over here towards the bottom. Knows they have full connector control at the very least. If he waits long enough, he might have a good opportunity for the flank to open up. Try and shut down the rest of this push. It's going to be Cadian, though, getting aggressive with that op on CT side yet again. Moving up to find Paz here. Dwindling the numbers even more, but Ricky does overextend his welcome. That does spot the bomb, and they know now that it's pretty much just at a default point. It's going to take quite some time before there could even be a plant. So Rogue can relax for now. They know they've got plenty of time before we can see a potential execute from Space Soldiers.
Yeah, they would like a little bit more intel, and it seems like the Molotov is actually just a feigned presence at A. Is Xantari's going to meet up with the bomb on the other side of Monster. Number 6 man going to sell this fake, but 6 here with an op. And that's that double op presence we were talking about. It's Calyx now. It's also going to get peeked by the second op on the round. Leaving just Major now, 1v4. This is what it all comes down to.
He's got himself a good angle to play off for. Does he spot the player in pit, though? No, he does not. Vice finds the trade, and with that, we are tied at 1-1. Final map score of 16-5. Rogue bring it back in extremely dominant fashion on Overpass. That means, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a map number 3 to figure out who our winner will be here at the DreamHack Open, and it'll be played on Inferno.
And again, you just change the map, and suddenly it looks like both the teams are just completely different, made of completely different players, right? Xantares is not having impact, and suddenly everybody on Rogue look extremely comfortable. So, not sure why they look so uncomfortable on Mirage per se, but we move on to Inferno, correct?
Yep. It's going to be quite the spectacle to witness, guys. That'll be coming up in just a few minutes. That'll be the final lap to decide who takes home the trophy, the top prize, and the glory, of course, that comes with winning the DreamHack Open. Sally, the loser, will have to go home with only second place prizing. Still pretty good, but it's not the winner. And with that, we are going to send it back over to the analyst desk to break down map number 2 and get us ready for our third and final map.
Thank you very much, Blue. I think that's just an example as to why having a permaban is a rough go. They didn't want to play Nuke, so they allow their permaban through and kind of just cross their fingers and pray for the best.
Listen, having a permaban is fine. Having two
permabans is a problem.
What are basically permabans, that's a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, they've played it here and there, but they're clearly not good at it. They looked lost. Their CT side, I think they got caught off guard by some shock and awe tactics by Rogue starting T. They rushed B, I think 3 or 4 times, it felt like, in the first 7 rounds. So they really caught them off guard. One round they rushed out Monster while they were boosting, and they didn't properly check for the Monster rush first before they even did it. They just did it blind. They ran out Monster, got shot in the side by Sick twice. I believe this is the round. And you just can't let that happen. You got to have a guy mauling Monster, and if you don't have a molly for it, you need to make sure you have Monster control and stop the rush before you go for a boost like that.
That's the only highlight really for Space Soldiers there. Calix's 4 kill, and that's really the basically only bright spot that took place.
Yeah, Space Soldiers managed to get some rounds on that CT side, made a tiny comeback, but all Rogue needed to do was adjust. They started playing a little slower, working the map. They were clearly more accustomed to it, and there's Ricky just BMing him. That was so disrespectful.
I mean, I looked at one point and Xantares was 6 and 16 on the scoreboard, and that was towards the end. That is not what you would expect to see. I mean, that ultimately is the problem. That's what we talked about coming into this series, was you cannot rely on those individual player performances to just carry you throughout, especially when you go to a map that you're historically weak on so much that you almost have no history. Looking back, if you look back at the last year of Space Soldiers, I would doubt they played this even twice.
Yeah,
that's how infrequently they want to see this map on the pool.
Yeah, they definitely don't like playing it. It doesn't play into their strengths, where I think they prefer maps where there's small corridors, because then it limits how many places you have to check when you go somewhere. It allows Xantares just to get headshot, and clear things one by one. And this map, it's so open, especially towards A, that it's almost impossible if you just play individually and clear things. It requires great communication and teamwork, and clearly they weren't ready for that.
Now we're going to Inferno.
That's wide open.
I also think that last performance will kind of be in their heads, in the heads of Space Soldiers for the first couple of rounds, and maybe Rogue can kind of ride that a little bit. You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they went into that map saying, "Okay, guys, let's see if we can make something happen."
Yeah,
that's true.
It's
fair enough.
We probably lose this, but let's try.
We suck at this map. Let's see what happens.
I think the one thing that I would be curious to know is if they won the knife round to start on CT side, because I think if I'm them, I actually want to start on the T side and hope that I can just run up the lead.
Yeah.
And some kind of steal the game that way already in the first half, because that was brutal.
Yeah, that was rough to watch. I definitely think if they had the option to start T-side, they probably should have. I don't know if they did, though. I wasn't watching at that time. So is it knife round for every map, or was it? I'm pretty sure it's whoever picks the map, the other team chooses side. I'm pretty sure. I don't know off the top of my head, but
yeah, I've seen knife rounds, but maybe that was for a third map. Not sure.
I think knife is for third map.
I think you're correct, but I'm not entirely sure either. If you want a little bit more from your viewing experience, head on over to DreamHack.com/digitalpass. That's where you can get the multi-view, also highlights and exclusive videos that you won't find anywhere else. We're going to throw things to a break, though. Map 3 here at the DreamHack Open Austin 2018 between Optic and Space Soldiers. You won't want to miss it.